Good evening, my dear friends. I welcome you all to the Hindu and the Businessline editorial analysis on this grand day when the giant subcontinent India, the Bharat, is commemorating its tryst with destiny at the 75th independence. This is the 76th Independence Day, and it has been 75 years since that tryst with destiny began. The Hindu editorial today is titled A Tryst with the Past. It's a growing evaluation of the promises that the opportunity provided then and how far we have been able to keep up with the opportunity and the vision of the freedom fighters and the mission of the constituent assembly members who took a resolution that in serving the nation they would be dedicated. The giant subcontinent India, the Bharat, and India's independence struggle and its ultimate independence victory led many countries under the colonial rule to break free from the shackles. The legacy of Gandhiji has left the debt which we are unable to repay even now. The mother of all civilizations, at the home of the most ancient civilization of the world, and the home to the diverse religions, the many varied cultures, and rich heritage of the opulence of soul and the spirit, and the rich heritage and the house of many natural resources. This giant subcontinent has kept up to the promise of the equal among equals, which the valiant freedom fighters, the men and women, had in their dreams while giving up their lives, even going to the gallows, and all the hardships faced by them culminated in the form of the sweet in independence midnight which witnessed 75 years ago. It is the hard fought battle starting with the 1857 the mutiny, the first war of independence. Many have led lives for only one purpose, the freedom of thought. This is worth celebrating now. The diverse cultures are united. India is today boasting of the fastest growing economy in the world. And we have come a longer way. We had framed the constitution to live up to the standards of the opportunity and the visions and the mission who took up the reins of the country on the resolution passed by the Constituent Assembly on August 14, 1947. The dominant clique that the all Indians nurtured is the concept of different cultures and religions and languages. We must be united as a secular nation. Hence, the Constitution was enunciated with the belief of freedom of thought, religion, and a secular state. Secular state means the nation doesn't have any official religion. And the universal adult suffrage in every election since then. Adult suffrage means the right to vote by anyone who has completed 18 years of age. And the institutionalization of the industries, the educational institutions, and the medical field we have seen, which was enunciated in the Constitution, and the federal, quasi federal nature of the states which were divided on the basis of language. These were some of the major principles of the Constitution. We have not been able to spend much or develop much upon education and health. Most of the education and health all over India is in the private hands, which gives us a very challenging future, which we must think now. We have a demographic dividend of 1.3 billion people. Around 400 million people are employable, and the strong workforce, which we must think of, it is being added every year by another 50 lakhs people every year. When the independent India took over the rule from the British, it was only 300 million people then. Now we have the demographic dividend of 1.3 billion people, and most of the people are in the age group of 15 to 45, 25 to 45, which means that India is the youngest nation in the world. We are soon to take over the largest country status from China, which is very fast approaching. That moment is very fast approaching. And with the development of the technology like 5G services and Internet of Things, we are hoping for a very liberal and developed industrialization of the nation. India during the first years of independence, there was India which was grappling with poverty. We had to import food from the US, and we had to make the poverty feeding. It was very high at the more than 50% of the Indian population. Now it has come down to 22% of the population. Still the poverty is harking upon us. We have been very much self-sufficient. Independent India in the initial years was depending on the foreign world for its support. Now we are very much self-sufficient and the fastest developing economy. Initially, instead of spending on the education and the health sector, the 5-year plans were trying to be implemented, which did not give much help for the Indian economy. Till the 1980s end, the Indian economy was in doldrums, and with the liberalization reforms of the 1990s, this status changed. We found that the liberalization was the key for developing our nation. We had no self-sufficiency in food. Then came the Green Revolution. And with the Green Revolution since the 1980s, 1970s, we have taken up the self-sufficiency of the food grains. We are now an exporter of food grains. 130 million tons of food grains is the production now. During the few years of independence, it was 30 million tons of food grains which we used to produce. We could not feed our population then, and now this giant subcontinent is able to feed its population. Now it is an irony to see that United States is asking us, why don't you export wheat? We are not exporting wheat. We are domestically using it. The same United States from where we used to import is now asking us why you are not exporting food grains. So US needs it. So all this culminated in the self-sufficiency, and we have come a longer way. The unity in diversity which the Constitution provides us, the constitutional safeguards which is being provided, the minorities are being protected, the marginalized sections of the population are protected. Now we have lived up to the expectation, and we have silenced the skeptics. We have the most intelligent resources of the world in the intellectual capital, in the fields of finance, medicine, the technology. We are the major technological developers in the software field. So we have come a long way. Now India boasts of a very huge chunk of the intellectual capital in the world. The World Economic Forum has reported that there is a huge difference between the first 10% of the population and the last 50% of the population. The ratio is 22. That is, there is greater inequality which is there. Some are very much rich and some are very much poor, not even having means to feed them for 3 times in a day. So these are some of the challenges which we are facing now. Even some here or there interstate disputes we can see. The interstate disputes in the case of water, the interstate disputes in the case of the sharing of the rivers. So these are some of the still thronging avenues, still thronging challenges which we must address. So we as a nation are finding the future very, very hopeful. So this is the moment to celebrate, the sweet moment to celebrate not only the time that we have come 75 years of independence, but also our achievements. The achievements since for the last 75 years have been, it's our own making. We are proud of that.